So today we're going to do programming in C. So the most used IDE for programming, especially in our context, is code blocks. So now to get to code blocks, you can press on this Windows icon just at the bottom left of your computer, and then go to all apps. Let's look for code blocks. This is for those who have Windows 10. Code blocks. Another way by which you can use it, you can go to the search button that's down, and then you do search for code blocks. Good, that's it. You can see the sign, so put it on. Okay. So in order to make a program in code blocks, a C program in code blocks, you just got to empty to add a new file, empty, and then I'm going to start with include studio.h. So, and then I write the second thing that's always present in the C program, int main void. Let's build this. Okay, so I'm going to write it as first class program 1. Save. Okay. So that's it. And then int main void. You're going to start to include studio.h. You guys, surely many of you guys are going to ask me what's the use of this statement, but this is just like telling the computer to include the libraries of C, and this definition stdio.h means standard input and output. I hope you guys get it. So the next statement is int main void. Void means nothing, so you may decide not to put it again. You decide to remove it, and I'll just decide to place it. Okay. So after this, don't forget to put your braces. Yeah. So what are we going to do today? So I'm going to explain most of C programming by creating a program which calculates the area of a rectangle. So first of all, write a comment program to calculate rectangle. This comment doesn't actually run, but it says like a notice or a note that the programmer writes while making the program, so that you may know what it's doing at various stages. Okay, so I'm going to initialize some variables. What do we know while calculating the area of a rectangle? We know that we got to know the length, the width, and then finally we find the area by using these two values, the length and the width. So first of all, we got to initialize the width, that is, and then the length, and then got the area. Initialize, first of all, that's what called variable declaration. You're declaring these variables here as integers. Int means integer, just as its name implies, int. can just continue integers. The next program we're going to the next class we're going to talk more about signed, unsigned, short signed integers, all that kind of stuff, and how they apply here in C programming. I believe you guys are really going to understand it. I believe you guys are smart and very intelligent. So next thing I'm going to say printf enter the width of the rectangle. Okay, remember every statement of a C program ends with a semicolon. So we got to continue with scanf %d and then what have we got? The width. It's important to put this identifier, this, and sign, and it actually enables the computer to give a memory allocation space of width in the memory, and allocation space for width in the memory. And this %g it indicates the number of variables that you're going to enter after this statement, enter the width of the rectangle. And from this you can see that %z, it means the number they're going to enter sure must be an integer. So at the end of every statement in C, we end with a semicolon. Printf enter the length of the rectangle. Okay. And then now I'm going to write what makes the core thing about the program, that is the formula to calculate the area of the rectangle. So what do we know about the area? We know that to calculate the area of a rectangle, it is length times width. Okay, length times width. So how do we do that? You say area is equals to length times width. Good. Remember at every end of a sentence, a statement in C program, we end it the semicolon. Good. So you know that area is equals to length times width. So I'm going to display something to tell the user that here's the answer. The area of the rectangle is %d area. Remember, it is good programming to declare variables with words. Once you declare something like width with W, it's true that you may understand what you're doing. You understand that that's the width, you used it as a width. But many other people who don't know programming, or which didn't know, or who weren't there when you're doing the program, they find difficulties understanding what you were declaring. We're declaring the width, the length, all that kind of stuff. They're going to be stuck some way somewhere, and you might get stuck in the next future when you want to review your program, what you did in the past years, and that stuff. So it is important to declare your variables as integers as words, so that you find it easy to to go through your program in the years to come. Also, here the area of the rectangle is percentage z area. The area is length times width times height, and the reason for which you are writing this area here is because since we know that the area of the triangle is length times width, and then here the area of the rectangle is percentage g. The reason why this percentage z is present is because we declared area as an integer, and since we declared it as an integer, we got to display it in the format of an integer, that's percentage z. What you have to note is that to calculate the area, the display format, I'm going to show you the different display format of, okay, so I'm going to put it on the side. What you guys got to note is that for an integer, for int, let me see, variable type and variable type and what next, and display format. Enter. So the first one is integer, and the display format is percentage z. When it's a float point, the display is percentage f, and when it's a double, it is percentage lf. And all these are in small cases. All these variable types. My small case is double. Good. In the next class, I'm going to talk about long signed and unsigned integers. Also, for characters, you have percentage c. For strings, percentage s. And what more have I forgotten? I think that's all. You guys got to note this down. If there's anything new, I want to tell you that in the next class. So this is the display format of an integer, and we declared area as an integer. Area as an integer, that's why I'm putting percentage d as the display format. And we're writing area here to tell the computer that the area of the rectangle is percentage g. The computer knows that what it's supposed to display here is an integer, and due to the fact that it's an integer, and we know that since it knows that it's an integer, I kind of ask you that, okay, I know that what he's supposed to display there is an integer, so what should I display there? You got to display what? Area. I know the area as this to be length times width. So writing the area here, you're going to give the answer that you have here to percentage d. Return this by your area to percentage d. I hope you guys get it. So I'm going to end the program with return 0. Let's run it and see what beautiful comes out. Five, 4, what is happening? Okay, we don't have an answer. What is the problem? Good. I don't know if you guys realized it, but the problem is here. I didn't give a memory allocation to length. So I describe, so omitting this, you guys got to understand this. When you're like in the scanf function, it's just like once the user is going to enter a function that's percentage %, that's an integer, the computer is going to allocate what the person entered here to the length. Same here, what the user is going to enter here as a width, enter any number here is going to, the computer is going to allocate it as the width. I hope you guys got it. So here we're going to, since the results here are allocated to the width, the result that the user is going to enter is allocated to the length. The computer takes, as we want to find the area, we're going to take area is the value that's been entered by the user and that's been allocated to the width. It becomes now the width, and then it's entered here, and that of the length is entered here. That gives the area, and then that's what makes us display the area. That's what comes out the answer of the area here. That's going to be displayed here. So let's run this and see what comes up. So we got 5 for every rectangle is 20. Bingo, we got it. So what you guys must have noticed, the problem is that it's kind of like choked up, and we have to find a good formatting space for that. So I'm going to add a new line here. It means that a new line is going to be formed before enter the width of the rectangle, before displaying enter the width of the rectangle. And then next, when the new line is formed, 2 tabs are going to be formed. /t. /t means a vertical tab. It means that the tab is going to form instead means a horizontal tab. A tab is going to, there will be some space here. I'm going to do the same thing here. /n /t /t. Good. So we do the same one here. /t, and that was right. Bingo. You know, you can notice that a new line has been formed before enter the width of the rectangle. So let's say enter 2, and then the length of the rectangle is 6, the area of the rectangle is 12. See that it's clear, but we see that this process returns 0. It's kind of like choked up to the area. So what we got to do is I'm going to put a new line here. It means that the new line is going to be formed after the area of the rectangle. Let's see what it gives. That is 6, 4, 7. Oh damn it, it's kind of too quick. So you see that there's a space here. So that's the end of our program, and I hope you guys got it right. I'd like you to, as assignment, to calculate the perimeter of a rectangle, let's just write it down here. Assignment: calculate the perimeter of create a program which calculates the area of calculates the perimeter of a rectangle. Create a program which calculates both the perimeter and the area of a circle of a square. And next, this is a bonus one. Create a program which calculates the area and circumference of a circle. This is a tough one. So here you have to calculate the perimeter of a square and the area. You got to write the formula of the perimeter of the square here, and then down you write the formula to calculate the area of a square. And here we're going to do printf, so you're going to display, once it displays the area of a square, then you got to also mention the perimeter of the square. For this circle, I'm not going to give you any clue on this. I'd like you guys to stress your brains to get through it, and then we're going to look at it in the next class. So that's it. So I'd love to see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys got many things from this tutorial. I believe I explained most of the things you guys got to know about the basics of C programming.